Kyrke-Smith.
Deputy Speaker, and I'd like to point the House to my register of members' interest, where I note the support I received from the Refugee, Asylum and Migration Policy Project. We all across this House want an immigration system that is well managed. When I speak to my constituents in Aylesbury about it, that's what they want too. They want grip, control, a government back in control of our borders. I'm so pleased that this bill seeks to do exactly that, and not just with slogans, but with solutions. I welcome the establishment of the Border Security Command and the enhanced powers to tackle the criminal gangs that make it possible for people to cross the Channel in small boats. They're exploiting some of the world's most vulnerable people, and that is unacceptable. I welcome the bill's focus on unaccompanied children who enter the country this way. It's right that we will no longer detain them without time limits, and it's right that local authorities are supported to make decisions on their accommodation needs. We must not leave these vulnerable children in hotels or in any inappropriate adult accommodation. I can't tell you how much I welcome the repeal of the Safety of Rwanda Act in full through this bill. £700 million of taxpayer money wasted on a scheme that was inhumane and was never going to work. There are two areas of the bill that I think we need to scrutinise carefully as it moves forward. First, I'd like reassurance that we are able to continually review which countries are safe and which are not, based on evidence. This is really important when international events can be so unpredictable and fast-paced, as we've seen, for example, with the fall of Assad in Syria. Second, we do have to be careful that we minimise the risk of unintentionally criminalising asylum seekers. People like Ibrahim Abba, a young person from Senegal who was sentenced after steering a dinghy which broke apart next to a fishing vessel. He claimed under threat of death. It is the smuggling gangs we need to target, not young people who are coerced while trying to survive, and I know the ministers will be looking carefully at this. Now I'd like to turn to the international context in which we're discussing this bill, because while I welcome it and I hope that it reduces the number of people crossing the Channel in grave danger, the reality is that for as long as persecution, war and conflict exist in the world, there will always be people fleeing for their safety, including to the UK. With that in mind, I see a vital continuing role for safe and legal ways for refugees and asylum seekers to seek protection in the UK. We know that safe routes can work, for example, the Homes for Ukraine scheme and the Afghan Citizens Resettlement Scheme. I'm proud of our country for these schemes. And where they operate effectively, we don't see people of these nationalities getting on small boats. The APPG on refugees, of which I'm a co-chair, did an inquiry into safe routes published last week, which proposes some further solutions, like reviewing the financial restrictions for UK-based sponsors to reunite with their children who remain in danger overseas. And I hope to see these considered. The benefit of options like family reunion and humanitarian visas is that they are also controlled and orderly in the same spirit as the bill today. I also see a vital role for international cooperation. I know the Home Secretary has been working with European neighbours to tackle the criminal smuggling gangs, and this is vital. I was pleased to see the joint action with Germany in December, for example. I would like to see this international cooperation extended to better anticipating and engaging constructively in the resolving of the crises that cause people to flee their homes in the first place, and to providing support for people closer to their homes. For example, the 3.3 million people who have now fled across a border to escape the conflict in Sudan. They need support when they flee in Sudan and when they flee to neighbouring countries. And this work has just got harder with the dramatic funding cuts to the US international aid budget, which I fear will be deeply destabilising. But ultimately, this is where the work must start, to stop vulnerable people attempting to reach our own shores. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak, and I look forward to supporting the bill tonight.